Welcome to Action Sports. My name is Stuart Kim. Injuries suck. They're a big factor in determining how successful your athletic season or career goes. What if you could know that you're at risk for a specific injury before it occurs so you can get ahead of it and use rehabilitation exercises to reduce your chance of getting injured during the season? This video will show you how. Hamstring strains are one of the most common muscle injuries in sports, such as baseball, that involves sprinting or sudden acceleration. Here you can see a player injuring his hamstring as he's trying to leg out a grounder to second. He hurt his hamstring because he placed them under large eccentric loads at long muscle lengths. Hamstring strains are a group of three muscles on the back of the thigh. Hamstring strain occurs when the muscle fibers are overstretched or overloaded. This usually occurs when the muscle is actively contracting while being lengthened. One way to reduce hamstring injuries is to work with the team during the off-season when they're still healthy. If we could identify the players that are at increased risk for injury during the season, we work with them during the preseason to stretch and strengthen their hamstrings. The way we do this is with a genetic test for hamstring stiffness, because hamstring stiffness is associated with risk of increased injury. A new paper gives us a way to do this. They found genetic differences for people with stiff hamstrings. The way they did it is they measured the hamstring stiffness in a large number of athletes using an ultrasound shear wave elastography scanner, and then looked for genetic differences between people with stiff hamstrings and people without. The paper found two polymorphisms associated with hamstring stiffness. Polymorphism is also known as a single nucleotide polymorphism. So in this example, most people would have a C called the reference allele. Some people would have an A um, called the risk allele, and you get one allele from your mom and one allele from the dad. And what they found is that people with two A alleles had increased risk for hamstring injury, hamstring strains. And for the other polymorphism, people that had two Cs were at increased risk for hamstring strains. Now we can do genetic testing on players during the preseason to figure out who has two Cs at the first polymorphism or two As at the second polymorphism, and then supplement them with rehabilitation exercise to stretch and strengthen these hamstrings before they get injured. There's a variety of rehabilitation exercises that you and your athletic trainer can undertake to reduce hamstring strains. Here, Chris is demonstrating a Nordic hamstring curl, which is an eccentric strengthening exercise. In addition, you can practice sprinting so that you're less likely to get injured during competition. For flexibility, you can improve lumbopelvic and glute control, as well as maintain functional flexibility. In addition, fatigue management is key because overtraining can lead to hamstring injuries. This is a win-win-win strategy for elite athletes. Players win because they're injured less, and so they'll have better stats during the season and have longer competitive careers. Team wins simply because the players are on the field and they're competing with the first string, not the second string. Owners win because the players are on the field, not in the training room, and they don't have to pay the contracts for players when they're injured. If you'd like to learn more, go to axgen.us. There you can learn about hamstring strains, as well as 50 other kinds of genetic tests to benefit an elite athlete. Thanks for listening.